Hi there. You could be great at your job, but you are still overlooked, underpaid, or even pushed out. Why? Because of office politics. You really need to understand what goes on. That's why I'm making this video, for you to understand office politics. And I'm going to share with you 8 key pointers for you to appreciate what entails office politics and also what you could do for you to be in a better position. You are all much welcomed. My name is Afagzad Sifunam. Having said that, the very first thing you need to understand is that work alone is not enough. I'm sure out there are professionals who work very hard, who wake up every morning to go and do their work. But unfortunately, in the realm of corporates and office politics, work alone is not enough. And that's so because outcomes are determined by visibility and perception. So in case what you're working on is not visible, or if you have unfavorable perception about you or what you're working on, then chances are the outcome is bound to be negative. So have that in mind. Keep working hard, yes, but understand work alone is not sufficient. And then the second thing you need to understand is that decisions are typically made outside meetings. Yes, there could be a meeting organized. You might be called in to a meeting to contribute, you name it. But the truth is that decisions are made outside meetings, typically by small circles, typically through alignments, and before the meetings happen. Most of the times when meetings happen, that is for aesthetics or just to check off a given box to say a given meeting happened and we had these particular people in that meeting. But the truth is that decisions are usually made before that meeting. Okay? And then the third thing which you need to understand in the broader scheme of office politics is that your manager is your biggest leverage point. And what I mean with that is that find a way of having a working relationship with your manager. And that is key because your manager is the conduit of partly your visibility, feedback, and your growth. So in case you have a bad working relationship with your manager, chances are your visibility and growth are going to be affected. So find a way of working with your manager. You don't have to be in the best of working relationships throughout. Of course, ideas vary out here, but then again, you need to be in good working relationships or just enough to enable you work, okay? And then a fourth thing, and also important thing you need to understand in a grand realm of office politics is that perception is always greater than intention. What do I mean? You could mean good in whatever you're doing, but what the decision makers think about you carry the day. I'm pretty sure you've seen such scenarios, for example, in your office. Someone who meant well, someone who worked very hard, but then again, a decision was made against them. That's because of perception. Perception is always greater than intention. So try to mitigate perception or enhance the perception about you by communicating, by documenting what you are doing. That way, you can softly and over time influence perception so that decision makers in the organization think about you highly. They think about you like someone who's contributing positively to the business as opposed to you working in silo, okay? And then a fifth thing which you need to understand when it comes to office politics is that not everyone play fair. In fact, the majority of people out there play unfair. And with that, I mean people out there typically take credit of other people's work, okay? They typically shift blame. And unfortunate thing which you might not know is that also they do build alliances. While you are working, there are those small circles who align based on different agendas. Basically, they build alliances. Whether it is an alliance to push someone out, whether it is an alliance to increase their salaries, whether it is an alliance to get additional benefits beyond what they are entitled to, you name it. Most people out there don't play safe. I'm not saying you should also not play safe or not play in a fair way. I'm just sharing this so that you have an appreciation. Don't stay in a vacuum out there thinking everyone is playing safe and everyone means well. People out there take other people's credit for the work they have done. And beyond that, they typically shift blame and they maneuver or move through existing and given alliances. You knowing that is going to assist you know how to go about your business. And then a sixth thing which you need to know about office politics is that silence can hurt you. You might be there sitting thinking you are safe as long as you are not communicating. But unfortunately, lack of communication doesn't guarantee safety because decisions are made based on visibility. Decisions are made based on perception. Decisions are made based on perceived trust. If you are silent, then again, how can decision makers know what you are doing? How can decision makers vouch for you? And that is why you need to think about striking a balance. Communicate when it is necessary, okay? Choose the battles you can fight, okay? All this you need to balance very well because at the end of the day, you staying quiet is gonna hurt you. You communicating too much is gonna hurt you. You need to strike a balance so as to ensure you are okay wherever you are working on, wherever you are working in, okay? And then the seventh thing you need to understand about office politics is that alignment always beats being right. What you need to do is get a sense of direction on any given dynamics, have a sense of how decision makers are thinking or where decision makers are moving to, and then align and act appropriately. And that's so because if you don't align, chances are, even if you are right, no one cares in the grand scheme of things. Because if decision makers are aligned or most people are aligned on a given thing and you are not aligned, chances are your influence won't really matter in the grand scheme of things. That is why you need to align because at the end of the day, influence is built through alliances and alignment. Okay? And then the eighth tip for you, which you need to be abiding by each and every day, is document your work. Document your win. Document discussions which are delicate. And I'm saying so because you cannot really pinpoint how the office politics are going to play against your employment or even so your progress in your career. That is why documenting is the best way for you to vouch for yourself. Keep documenting and also appreciate these dynamics I've spoken about, and hopefully over time you're gonna be in a much better standing in your career. What do you think about this video? What do you think about office politics? Have you been in a situation where office politics has worked against you? If you have, share with us down below in the comment section. Let's continue discussing. But I'm sharing this video for you to really appreciate the environment you work in so as to align much better and see how you can see your career progress. Cheers, guys, and I look forward to share with you other amazing videos next time. Stay safe.